Welcome back to Wendy's Colouring, and today, yay, goodies that have arrived that I wanted to look at for quite a long time. Can't lie, I've been admiring these for a while, but yeah, not available in the UK. And then they were available in the UK. At how much? I'm not paying £75 for these pencils. I think these are really cheap, aren't they, in the States? You go get all the best deals. But yeah, not cheap in this country. 75, 80. Finally came down into the 60s, then it stayed at 60, and I'm still like, I just don't think they're worth that either. But they've kind of stayed there. 59, 60, 61 pounds. 59, I did go, oh, go on then. And yeah, mixed feelings about them really. Delighted to have them. Then my dispatch note came from Amazon. Dispatched via every old Hermes delivery. It's not the delivery courier choice of most people. You don't tend to go, ooh, great, they're coming by them. No. So I was a bit like, oh, what state are they going to be when they get here? Dinged. Dinged is the state they're going to be when they get here. Kind of look like they've had a kickabout. So the bottom is dinged on both corners. The ends are dinged. The lid is dinged. It was literally in just a bag. Bubble wrap bag, but it's still like the skinniest rubbish. Yeah, all my front on here is dinged. So I was a bit kind of sad, like, oh, come on. I've already overpaid for these products. Why must you kick them about like they're a football in the van? So I was a bit apprehensive when I opened them. I was like, what state are they going to be in? This is a pastel set. That's the idea, at least. It's supposed to be a cheap pastel set, but it's not if you're in the UK. I think they do a smaller version. I haven't noticed whether the smaller version has finally arrived on the UK. The swatch chart is here. You can see how lovely and dinged my tin is. It seems quite a strange order, but it does look like they've got numbers, even if we're kind of going in some kind of rainbow order. I'm not sure whether I'll keep them in that order. That seems a bit crazy. Then we've got, let's shove it over there because it'll help get rid of the glare from that tin. And they do look so beautiful, don't they? And this is what's tempted me. Because look at them. Even if I never used them, just look how beautiful they are. So 3 rows of beautiful pencils. So we've got pinks through oranges, yellows, into more kind of skin tones, and then really soft lemon yellows. Then we've got a whole load of greens that are beautiful. I love these kind of limey, fresh greens. I think they're lovely. These kind of minty ones I find a bit harder to use. Really nice teals into blues. This is quite a nice blue on the end as well. And then our final tray of delights. Beautiful blues into more kind of lavender, violets, a few more pinks, and then these kind of quite strange tones on the end that I think are really useful. So kind of a grey purple, I would say. Kind of, I don't know, what you just kind of grey brown, would you describe that as? And then an actual grey just to finish off at the end. But yeah, they're so beautiful to look at. Not tried, get back in, there we go. I've not tried them at all yet. I've had them for a couple of weeks. They have been on the side. And yeah, it's quite unusual for me not to rip something open and use it straight away. But yeah, I've just been a bit busy really. And when I have had time in my crafty room in here, I've just thought, you know what, I just want to colour. I don't want to stress myself out with anything. So they're lovely. They're square. So you have a square barrel. And then it's only printing on one side, so professional colour set, creative. And then we've got some kind of number, which easier said than done to read in my lights. I think it's 003. Yeah, I see 003. And then obviously their little happy little logo, which I do quite like. And they do feel quite nice in the hand. I'm very tempted. Oh, I've got a bit of paper handy. Ooh. They do feel quite nice, quite soft. yeah, very tempted. So as you can imagine, I do want to see what they're all like. Obviously they need a sharpen because they've got the square, square nib at the moment. It's squared off at the top, look. I'm hoping they're going to go in my sharpener. I normally use the, see how messy it is now, my Dial 133, great sharpener. And I have printed off one of my swatches, although my printer is not playing today and it is a bit stripy, so me and printers, we're just not getting on at the moment at all. But I thought, it's good enough, I'll live with the stripes. Who cares? My swatch won't care, will it? So, yeah, I'm not going to film all me swatching all these 72 pencils. I'm sure you know what a person doing a swatch looks like. Yeah, I'm going to film my swatch and see what I think when I've done a bit of filming. Bit of swatching. Clearly I'm filming now. Going mad. But yeah, I'll do my swatch and come back to you to see what I think about the colours and what pencils I maybe think they're similar to. Do I like these? I'm hoping I like them. I like them to look at, even if nothing else. And I'm even more delighted that although this has been kicked about like a football, they all seem to be in one piece. I'm hoping when I sharpen them, they remain in one piece. There lies the question that I won't know for months, will I? Let's be honest. Please say they'll be alright. Right, see you in a minute when I've done all of this swatching. Okay, so I'm back all swatched up. Yeah, I think first thing I discovered whilst doing this really is that they don't really like smooth paper. So this is my, I think it's called Navigator print paper. It's thicker than normal print paper, but it is a print paper. But it is quite smooth really, so it's quite good for markers. But yeah, I don't think, I think these really could do with something a bit more toothy than this. And as a result, I think these look a little bit paler than perhaps if I'd tried it. I did just quickly grab hold of this. I've got Faber-Castell watercolour pad. This is a cheap watercolour paper, but I noticed, yeah, they were darker, much more easily on this that has a little bit of texture to it. So I think that, you know, it'd be great for Amazon books, anything like that. I think they'll suit quite fine. The other thing I definitely noticed is that these are very, very crumbly. Even that, just that little, literally, I've just done that little bit on there and I've not really brushed it off. And as you can see, or maybe you can't, but yeah, little bits of crummy. As soon as you use them, they're quite crumbly. Is that because mine have been kicked about by every? I don't know. But certainly it was quite noticeable that as soon as you start, let's grab another one, let's see what I mean. As soon as you start kind of pressing anything down, you do get quite a lot of kind of crumb coming off. Even just in that small little swatch, it's quite a lot. Again, you know, does it matter? No. Perhaps if you're doing a whole page with it, it might be a bit annoying, but if you've got a brush handy, it's not the end of the world, is it? I think the colour palette's lovely. They look, obviously, they look absolutely stunning, don't they? They do look the part. I think they look lovely. And they have quite a nice selection of greens, particularly. I mean, pretty much, there's a couple of these that I wouldn't describe as greens at the top, but pretty much all of these are in the green palette, and then you're going into that kind of tealy palette. These are quite interesting colours, 50, 21, 42, a little bit different. I think the colour selection is lovely. I totally have ignored this. I don't see the... Is this like, let's just put them in as random order as we can? I don't understand what on earth this is about. I've literally just gone in the order that they are in the trays because they look so beautiful in the trays, don't they? And that made far more sense than what on earth this is. I just don't even know. It doesn't make any sense to me. Whichever direction you kind of look at. But this is the number order that's actually on the pencils, and obviously I've done it on my swatch in the number order that they are lined up nicely like this in kind of colour order. and it's, you know, makes no sense, does it? 16, 9, 3, 51, 36. I don't understand why you would number them like that. Why wouldn't you number them in this order? This makes sense. Does it matter? No, not at all. As you might know if you follow me, generally I label all my pencil cases with the numbers and a small swatch, so it won't matter to me that the numbers are a bit random. I'll learn where they are in terms of, they'll be with the pinks, they'll be with the oranges, they'll be with the skin tones, so that'll work fine for me. It doesn't matter in that respect. I've sharpened them all. I hadn't had any issues sharpening. They went in my dial completely fine. I've had no snappage, so that's good. Obviously I've not had to sharpen these a huge amount. I've literally just taken that square tip off them, but they've all been fine. I don't love this tray, but it's done the job, and it seems to have protected them from bad delivery practices. But yeah, I haven't had to resharpen any of them. I have noticed that as soon as I get it nice and sharp, you know, really sharp, literally as soon as I put the pencil to the paper though, I lose the tip straight away. But perhaps that's because I'm heavy-handed. Maybe if you were a lot more gentle than I am, that wouldn't happen. But for me, pretty much every time, I snapped the very sharp bit off them straight away. But yeah, what do I think? I suppose doing these, I had to get this out, didn't I? That I've done quite a while ago now. So I have all the Holbeins, but so obviously I have all the pastel Holbeins, and I have, these are all 50 sets, I think 52 sets, but I have all the ones that, you know, you can pretty much get. So Holbeins, Brittany Macarons, Castle Arts even, Pastelo, and I do have the Color as well. I've not put them on here. I don't actually think I've done a swatch with my Colors. So I have those as well recently, and as you can see already, there's not a huge amount of difference in colour palette, is there? I don't think you need one set over another. It's really just the feel of them, I think, that really changes. Obviously this is a 72 set. I do have the 72s of the Macarons and the 72s of the Colors. They're much of a muchness. I like both of them really. I think the Macarons for the Brutes, they're so cheap to get hold of, aren't they? I mean, at that price, they're hard to beat, I think, really. If you're after a pastel set, you can get such great deals on those. But my Colors I got off Temu. They also, I think I paid £20, something like that for them. Again, they're a pretty good buy. I do like them as well. These, at the price they are for UK, at the moment, I can't, in all honesty, say buy these over either of those other 72 sets that are so cheap. For us here in the UK, those are at such a better price point, and there's not a huge amount of difference between them. So I think if you're looking for a pastel set and you're happy to spend kind of 10 or 20 quid, I think I'd go for either the other ones, Macarons or the Colors 72. You can get them on and pretty good deals from Ali or Temu or any of those. The 50 Macarons, they're on good deals on Amazon UK, aren't they? So they're worth having. It's the price point for these that, in all honesty, for here in the UK, I would say no. If you're in the US and you can get these for, I don't know, $20, I think they're going for, aren't they, for you? Then by all means get these over those other two, because that makes equally just as much sense. These are softer. I think that I did notice. I've had a bit of a play about getting a couple of the Brutes out, getting a couple of these out that are similar colour palette. You can get them both as strong in terms of pigment, definitely. These do feel a little bit softer, a little bit smoother, I think. You know, if they were the same price point, I'd probably get these over the others, just because they do feel just a little bit nicer. They're a little bit softer. They'll probably work a little bit better with some other kind of waxy pencils that you have. Do I think they're worth the £60 I've paid for them? Honestly, not when you can get the other ones so cheap. I mean, they look amazing and they are lovely and I'll use them. They're a very usable set. I love the colour palette in them. I always want pastel sets to actually put in the same pencil case with my other pencil sets. So, you know, there'll be pencil sets waiting for another pastel set to go in. So they'll find a home in my hoard of pencils, no problem. But yeah, I think it depends where in the world you are. For some places, these will be a no-brainer. Definitely buy them. The price is good. Pencils are nice. Packaging clearly works because they're still okay after a good, terrible delivery. But here in the UK at the moment, price point I think is a touch too high. I think I would definitely instead get what I've just been comparing them to. So this is my little work pencil case. I think I'd just get this kind of 72 set from my Brute Funa macarons. They're a great set. Or like I say, the 72 colours, they're much, much cheaper. They're a little bit drier. I think that's what I would say. These are still fairly crumbly. You're still getting quite a bit of dust off them. But yeah, similar colour palette. A third of the price over here. So yeah, if you're in the UK, they're nice. But yeah, I don't think I would. I'm sorry to say, because I do like them. I think they're a really nice set. It's just the price point here that doesn't make them a huge amount of sense. But yeah, if you're looking at them and you think they're beautiful, they are beautiful. They're really, really lovely. And that's why I had to get them. And I think some of these kind of yellow greens are really lovely. And I don't think there's so many of those in other sets. There tend to be just one kind of chartreuse green, isn't there, in the other sets. So it does have a bit more of a colour selection here and there, and I quite like those little odd kind of grey, lavender, grey brown, proper grey at the bottom. I thought they were quite a nice addition. But yeah, they're a nice set of pencils. I just sadly think they're a bit expensive here in the UK. But yes, you will see them popping up in my colouring. At some point they will get teamed up with another set somewhere in my pencil collection. Looking forward to using them a bit more. But yeah, there's a quick look at my Indra Creative. Yeah, they're a nice set of pencils. Please be cheaper. Thank you very much for watching. By all means, ask me some questions if you'd like to. I'm no expert. I've not used them in a colouring yet. It's literally just a bit of swatching and a bit of playing. Nothing major. But yeah, thank you very much for watching. Hopefully it was interesting to you. Bye bye.